600 square feet on the third floor of a place above a deli. Hot in summer, cold in winter, leaky pipes that always belly. We could barely fit our furniture. The couch was on its side, and the bedroom was so small, it was just the bed inside. We made dinners on a hot plate while the oven sat there broken. We ate noodles by the window with the city sounds left open. We danced between the boxes that we hadn't yet unpacked, and we made love so quietly because the walls were really cracked. We didn't have a dishwasher, we didn't have a yard, we didn't have a single guest bed or anything that's hard. We didn't have the basics that the experts say you need, but we had everything, my love. We had each other and the sea. The apartment we outgrew, the one we couldn't quite afford. The apartment we outgrew, the one we never really stored. But every wall in that small place was witness to our birth. The apartment we outgrew, and the only place of worth. The only place of worth. There was a stain on the carpet from the wine we spilled the first night, and a window with a view of the brick wall in dim light. The kitchen sink was always slow, the heater was a curse, but every single morning I would wake up and rehearse. Be grateful you're alive in this tiny imperfect verse. We brought our daughter home to that small place in spring of 15. We didn't have a nursery, just her crib and our routine. She slept right next to us and learned the rhythm of our breath. And the first house she remembered was the smallest one we kept. We finally moved in 17 to something with a yard, a real house with a kitchen and a basement we could carve. But every time I drive past Bedford Street and see that deli sign, I look up at the third floor window, and I think that place was mine. The apartment we outgrew, the one we couldn't quite afford. The apartment we outgrew, the one we never really stored. But every wall in that small place was witness to our birth. The apartment we outgrew, and the only place of worth. The only place of worth. Now we live in a real house with the things we always wanted. The bigger kitchen, bigger bedrooms, things we always flaunted. But sometimes when the night gets quiet and the kids are all in bed, I find myself remembering the place we never fled. The apartment we outgrew was the apartment where we grew, where we learned to love with nothing but each other to come through. And every fancy thing we have today is just an addition to the love we built in 600 feet without permission. just like we used to be, broken, full of dreams. And we asked if we could see our old apartment for the seams. They let us in and I just stood there in the kitchen of our youth. And you cried because you saw the same stain still upon the truth. And we hugged that other couple and we wished them all our best, and drove away in silence with our hearts inside our chest. The apartment we outgrew, the smallest love I've ever known. The apartment we outgrew, and yeah, the biggest one I've grown. Every sacred memory was made within those tiny walls. The apartment we outgrew, and I live there through it all. I'd live there through it all. The apartment we outgrew, the apartment we outgrew. 600 square feet of the love that kept us seeing through. The apartment we outgrew, my love, the apartment we outgrew. The smallest place became the home where everything we knew